The survivor assessment form is meant to record information gathered on the case regarding both risks and needs, as well as strengths and resources. The information recorded in this form should be used as a base for developing the action plan. This includes the survivor context or basic demographic information on the survivor. It could include things like the sex, the age, the displacement status, or other relevant information that you want to have on hand as you go through the assessment. Next is the survivor's family situation. Is she married and or living with an intimate partner? Does she have children? If so, how many and how old are they? Do her children live with her? What other family members are present in the client's life on a daily basis? And does she have other relatives that are present in her life? You can see some of those questions here as well in the guidance. Then we have the survivor's living situation. Does the survivor have a place to live? Where? Who lives in the house with her? Does she live with her husband or intimate partner? And are there any relatives living nearby? Then we have the survivor's role in the community. Does the survivor work? Is her work at home? Does she have paid employment, part-time or full-time? And does the survivor have a special role in the community where she or he lives? These questions all give us information about her context. Then it moves on to questions about the presenting problem. Including describing what happened to the survivor in her own words. Identify what problem, concern, or issue the survivor is requesting assistance or support for. And you can list the survivor's main concerns in her own words. This might include immediate safety, her children's safety, access to economic resources, medical assistance, or the perception of others. Then we move on to key assessment points. Here you can summarize key assessment points with respect to the nature, timing, frequency, and severity of the violence reported, who the perpetrator is in relation to the survivor, and whether they have easy access to the survivor. This helps us determine risk. You can gauge emotional well-being, ability to keep up with day-to-day tasks, overall sense of safety in the world, and the ability to trust others. Here we identify survivor needs, be it safety, health, psychosocial, legal, practical, or other, as well as her strengths and coping strategies to help determine their need for psychosocial support and or other appropriate and timely referrals. You can also look at her current situation and any imminent risks. Identify situations, circumstances, and people that are continuing to harm the survivor or put her at risk of harm. Does the perpetrator know where the survivor is right now? If yes, would they try to come find her? When did the incident take place? Did they have an acute injury? Was there forced penetration, physical force, or weapons used? How frequently has the survivor experienced violence like this incident? And what's the relationship with the perpetrator? These are the types of questions you might go through. Related to that, you could look more specifically at needs. Will the survivor be in immediate danger when she leaves? How safe does she feel at home? Has the survivor ever tried to get help from someone else? Have they ever tried to leave? You might look at health needs. Does the client require and or want medical attention? Did the last incident occur within the last 120 hours? Would the survivor like to know more about medication and exam options? Are they complaining of physical pain or injury, bleeding or discharge? Then psychosocial needs. How does the survivor describe her emotional state? Based on your observations, how would you describe her appearance and behavior? Is there anything strange or unusual? What's their sense of level of functioning? Then you can look at legal needs. Does the survivor wish to report to formal authorities or to take legal action? What are the risks, benefits, time, and costs the survivor should factor into making that decision? Is legal recourse an immediate priority? Do they just want more information about their legal rights? And finally, practical or material needs. Here we can look at things like, does the survivor have access to income? Does the survivor have access to food, clothes, phone credit, transportation? What are their sources of support, including family and community? And is the survivor's lack of income impacting her ability to be safe? Then finally, the last question on the form is about how long it took you to fill out this assessment.